ahead on 12 News Weekend, ideas to ease congestion on Interstate 94, but why adding a lane between Maple Grove and St. Cloud may not be the best option. Then, a Brooklyn Park mom and her remarkable pit bull.
The longer that I waited, the more vocal he got about it.
Why everybody now likes TaterTot. But first, a surge in apartment building in Golden Valley, and not every resident is happy about it. 12 News Weekend starts right now. Well, Golden Valley is a busy place these days for apartment projects, especially along I-394. Construction recently began on the Arcata apartments next to the Colonnade Office Tower, and this week the City Council approved 2 more apartment buildings. The 394 apartments will be built on the northwest corner of 394 and Highway 100. One of the buildings will be luxury apartments serving empty nesters and young couples. The other is for seniors in need of memory care and assisted living. The project has been in the planning stages for close to 6 years. The city is excited about it, but there are concerns from neighbors about added traffic and overall impact.
There's a lot of trees, and they're going to trash them all. They're not going to leave a buffer for us.
We have about 20 houses on the block. We have young families, older people. We have a house for autistic children. Right next door to me, there is a nursing home. We have people walking their dogs, have strollers. It's already horrible getting in and out.
Rents could range from $1,000 a month for a 1-bedroom up to $2,400 a month for a 3-bedroom unit. Construction could take up to 2 years. Wayzata school officials say they need to build to keep up with growing enrollment. Wayzata High School alone could grow by 900 students in the next 10 years. This week, the school board approved 2 funding questions that will be on a special election ballot in February. One would expand Wayzata High School, build a new elementary school, and upgrade security. The cost would be $109 million. The other question asks voters to renew an existing technology levy. Earlier this year, state and federal lawmakers proposed adding lanes to Interstate 94 between Maple Grove and St. Cloud. The plan was aimed at easing congestion, but state traffic experts say additional lanes could actually make the problem worse. At any hour of any day, traffic zooms by on I-94 as people travel from point A
Well, I was up to North Dakota for a memorial service and headed back
to point B.
We're just coming back from the cabin, a weekend at the cabin hanging out.
But whether drivers can get to those places without a few headaches is another question.
When we've gone on holiday weekends, that's when it really is tough. You get stuck in various parts here and close to the cities.
Well, yes, on all of the, everywhere, not just here.
Some lawmakers think adding another lane on 94 could solve the congestion problem.
We're getting some interest, we're getting traction, and this is where it begins.
Michelle Bachmann tried to rally support for the plan back in March.
That is one of the vital arteries.
Public opinion, however, was mixed.
Well, I think it'd be a good idea for a ways. I mean, it's, what is it, 3-lane now to Rogers?
Well, I think if it's needed, it's great.
I think there's a better solution.
The Metropolitan Council also thinks there's a better solution. A spokeswoman today said, "It appears this corridor does not experience the extent and duration of congestion as other Metro freeway facilities," and added, "Resources for an expansion may be difficult to come by." A report by the St. Cloud Times found that an extra lane would make congestion even worse near the 494 and 694 junction because it would bring vehicles more quickly to the bottleneck, which means the real answer is up for debate. Drivers seem to have their own solutions.
And that's to start down, somewhere around Rochester, south of Rochester, and make a new interstate going up to maybe Alexandria or St. Cloud. Bypass the whole Twin Cities area.
I think everybody should have float planes.
Just buy a plane. Well, so what is the answer? Rather than simply adding lanes, transportation officials suggest a multi-layered approach that includes new ramp meters, min-pass lanes, and expanded public transportation. Well, in our weekend review, Maple Grove police announced an arrest in a robbery spree. Formal charges are pending against a man suspected of robbing a Maple Grove Burger King early Wednesday. He's also a suspect in several other robberies along I-94. Maple Grove police say the arrest wouldn't have been possible had it not been for tips received after recent media exposure. And Brooklyn Park police are turning to social media to nab a credit card thief. Police posted this surveillance photo on its Facebook page showing a man who used a stolen credit card at the Brooklyn Park Walmart. It's the first time Brooklyn Park police have tried posting surveillance photos on Facebook to catch thieves. Police believe the person seen here got away in a light-colored SUV. And if you haven't gotten the flu shot yet, state health officials say that now is the time. At least 4 people have been hospitalized in recent weeks with confirmed cases of the flu, and 3 schools have reported outbreaks of flu-like illnesses. Researchers from the Minnesota Department of Health say they haven't seen enough cases to officially say the flu season has begun, but it usually peaks in late December or January. Well, construction on the nearly $1 billion Vikings Stadium is still weeks away, but big decisions are looming on which companies will get to work on the project. Alexandra Renslow shows us how there's a lot at stake for one Maple Grove company.
At the site of Maple Grove's latest apartment complex, a 27,000-pound concrete wall is hoisted into place like a giant Lincoln log set for a new 5-story parking garage.
The average piece weighs about 65,000 pounds.
Maple Grove-based subcontractor Hanson Structural Precast is doing the heavy lifting on this project.
Looking good. Swinging right.
Back at the Hanson plant, cement is poured and cured to form the massive concrete pieces that are then shipped to construction sites like the one in Maple Grove. This parking ramp is one of 32 construction projects underway for this Maple Grove company, but they're hoping to land a multi-million-dollar deal for a very public project.
Yes, we definitely want to be part of the Vikings Stadium.
Hanson's bid is in for work on the new $975 million Vikings Stadium. There's competition on the line for the job, but Hanson has stadium experience on its side.
Well, this is an aerial photograph that we took of TCF Bank Stadium while it was under construction.
From TCF Bank Stadium to Target Field,
It's very exciting to be part of these high-profile projects.
this local company has played a role in every stadium dating back to the old Mets Center.
Everybody in this company is constantly asking me all day long if I've heard anything, because they all want to be part of this project.
Getting the Vikings Stadium contract could mean 100 jobs, including up to 50 new hires for Hanson and 2 years of work.
In each of those 2 years, it could probably be 25% of our overall workload.
Back at their Maple Grove project site,
It'd be nice. It's the last stadium that's going to get put up for a long time.
Foreman Eddie Schmitz is eager to oversee another stadium project. There's jobs at stake, but there's also pride on the line.
It comes down to the pride of having been part of some of these bigger projects, including the Minnesota Vikings Stadium.
Well, Hanson should find out within the next 30 days if they won the bid for work on the new stadium. Well, coming up on 12 News Weekend, the Brooklyn Park Pit Bull that's part pet, part hero. Then later in sports, Maple Grove and Osseo each win conference titles in prep football. But first, prepare for the season's first frost. Our AccuWeather forecast shows temperatures dipping below freezing. Brr. Save it or tear it down? That's the question facing the Osseo City Council as it decides what to do about its nearly 100-year-old water tower. The North Water Tower is in need of repairs, even though it hasn't actually held water in years. Those who want to tear it down say the city can't afford the estimated $350,000 in repair costs, but some believe it's worth saving for its historical value.
Osseo is getting a lot of new things, which is very important for a small town like this, but I also think it's really important to keep the old and keep our historical standing.
There are monies available to maintain and preserve the tower, so local citizens would not have to be taxed.
It seems like the absolute cheapest option is just cut it down, cut it up, and take it out of there. That's my opinion.
If this tower was unique like Lindstrom's coffee pot, it maybe would be worth considering. But I don't see where this is anything that's unique at all.
The city will get bids to tear down the tower. At the same time, it will check into historical grants that could pay to keep it standing. Well, a Brooklyn Park mom recently had a medical scare involving her young son. As Eric Nelson found out, a medical assist goes to one remarkable pit bull.
Shake. Thank you.
From foster dog to global hero, that sums up the meteoric rise of TaterTot, a 10-month-old pit bull who saved the life of Christy Smith's 4-year-old. On October 2nd, TaterTot was barking and frantically running between Christy's bedroom and her son Peyton's room.
The longer that I waited, the more vocal he got about it.
When Christy finally checked on her son, he was barely breathing. Christy then rushed Peyton to the hospital, and they arrived just in time.
Being a parent, like, your kids are your #1 priority. And when something happens, like, there's no description of the word that you can feel. And TaterTot saved me from that.
Thanks to TaterTot, this story has a happy ending. After several tests, doctors found nothing wrong with Peyton. As for TaterTot, he is now an internet sensation with roughly 14,000 likes on his Facebook page. And he's no longer a foster dog. Christy has adopted him.
He saved my son's life, so I'm saving his.
TaterTot is also proof that pit bulls, despite their reputation, have good qualities.
They are the sweetest animals, and it's all how they're raised. Any dog can be raised to be mean.
In Brooklyn Park, Eric Nelson, 12 News.
It's unclear exactly why Peyton was not breathing, but doctors traced it to low blood sugar levels. Coming up, the high school reunion that could top all reunions. But first, spots in the state soccer tournament were up for grabs this week. That's coming up in sports with Jay Wilcox. Well, Jay Wilcox joining us now with sports. Sounds like we have some great local football teams here having some success.
Yeah, nice to win a regular season championship. Their attention will turn to the playoffs now, but great regular seasons. 2 District 279 football teams aimed for titles in the 2 divisions of the Northwest Suburban Conference Wednesday night in regular season finales. Osseo faces Totino-Grace for the West Division title. All defense in the first half. The Grace pass rush forces Matt Medke out of the pocket. Matt Lentner with the sack. Denny Finley flies into the backfield for Osseo and gets the tackle for loss in a scoreless first half. On the first play of the second half, though, Jamin Hampton gets through the hole, breaks a tackle, and he keeps his balance on the way to a 67-yard touchdown run for Osseo, and the Orioles go up by a 7-0 score. The Eagles, though, march right down the field on their possession right after that, capping the drive with an 8-yard pass, Seth Stallwald to Darrell Wyndham, and we're tied up. The Orioles build a lead, though. Medke's 21-yard touchdown pass to Connor Kittleson in the fourth quarter puts Osseo on top 21-7. After a Grace touchdown cuts the lead to 21-14, Prince Crua blazes for a 64-yard run. He goes down to the Eagles' 9-yard line to set up a touchdown, and Osseo wins the West Division with a 28-14 victory. At Maple Grove, the Crimson looking to wrap up the North Division title against Champlin Park. First offensive series of the game for the Crimson, and Clark Winicky gets loose. He runs it in from 30 yards out, his 8th rushing touchdown of the season at 6-0. Next series for the Rebels, and Chris Fondakowski blocks the punt. Ryan Brockhausen runs it in for a score after the extra point. It's 13-0 Crimson, less than 4 minutes in. First play of the second quarter, Crimson quarterback Evan Puko keeps it himself, and he'll just get into the end zone on a 5-yard touchdown run to make it 20-0. Maple Grove wins 34-7 to win the conference and secure the top seed in the Section 5 Class 6A playoffs. Park Center's football team made some strides this fall. The Pirates are ready to start the playoffs on Tuesday. Ask any of Park Center's opponents this fall. The Pirates have gotten better. They won 2 Northwest Suburban Conference games this season. It may not sound like a lot, but it's the first time the Pirates have won 2 league games since 2006.
It gave us a lot of confidence heading into the playoffs, knowing that we can beat those kind of teams and get big wins. It gives us confidence going into the sections.
Oh, it's huge. I think it gives the kids a lot of confidence going to the section game. And it's something that we've been trying to improve on over the last 2.5 years that we've been here, is to get some success in the conference and play some good football towards the end of the season and
They did take a tough loss against Elk River in the regular season finale, but Park Center is fired up for the playoffs. They are the 5th seed in Section 6 of Class 4A, and they should match up well with number 4 seed Fridley.
They're a good team, about balanced offense, good running back, and it should be a good game on Tuesday. They kind of look similar to us. We just finished watching them on film, and they got some athletes, just like we do. Number-wise, looks like they're the same as we are. And so they spread the ball out, you know, very similar to what we do. So it'll be a challenge.
They didn't end up winning, but Park Center put a scare into Cooper in an upset bid in the playoff opener last fall. The guys remember that one well.
Oh yeah, that Cooper loss is still in our heads, and we're ready to make a run in these playoffs because we feel like we have a strong team and can play with the teams in our section.
An injury to starting quarterback Parker Miller a couple of weeks back didn't help their cause, but the Pirates are ready to tackle any foe in front of them. After all, it's playoff time. Park Center plays at Fridley Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. Well, spots in the state soccer tournament were on the line this week. That included Maple Grove versus Prairie Seeds in the Section 5 AA boys final. Off a Prairie Seeds corner kick, Monier Peterson Darbaki gets a shot after the deflection, but Ben Nelson makes the save. It's scoreless at halftime. Second half and another corner kick. Charles Huberty heads the ball into the turf and it bounces past Nelson. Prairie Seeds is on the board about 5 minutes into the half. Kevin Hoof nearly ties it on a free kick. C.J. Damey just gets a piece of it and it goes wide of the net. Prairie Seeds ices it as Malegwe Keita steals the pass and fires a long shot on net. Darwin Campaverde is there for the rebound. For a 2-0 lead, Prairie Seeds is headed to state with a 2-0 win. And the Benilde girls and both Totino-Grace teams also headed to the state soccer tournament.
Congrats to them.
That's right.
Thanks, Jake. Well, still ahead, happy memories and a whole lot of nostalgia in Robbinsdale. We'll explain when we come back. Well, finally, one very impressive reunion celebration this weekend. Graduates of the former Robbinsdale High School are toasting the school's past. The 3-day event includes a Hall of Fame induction ceremony, a party at the Medina Ballroom, a pep fest, and a classic car show. Robbinsdale High opened in 1936 and closed in 1982. In that span, more than 22,000 students called themselves Robbinsdale Robins. In 1963, Robbinsdale High had an enrollment of nearly 3,500 students and was the largest school in Minnesota.
It was like Leave It to Beaver days. It was the all-American school. We were #1 in about everything there is. We were the envy of all the other schools. We had the best sports teams, we had the best drama, we had the best band. We were huge, we were it.
Well, students from Brooklyn Center, Brooklyn Park, Crystal, Golden Valley, New Hope, and Plymouth all went to Robbinsdale High School. Our own John Jacobson, didn't he go there?
Yes, that's very true.
All right, well, thanks a lot, everybody. Have yourself a great weekend.